Now today we have a number of issues to look at, and I needed to come along so we can dust some of these things, okay? All right, no two ways about them in the manner. Now the very first story I want to look at is this, taken from my Joy Online, and it says, scrapping one district, one factory undermines job creation agenda. Afenyomarkin speaking, and I read it. Minority leader Alexander Afenyomarkin has taken a swipe at the government over what he describes as a lack of serious effort to tackle unemployment, particularly within the private sector. Now, speaking at a press conference ahead of the third meeting of Parliament, the new Patriotic Party MP questioned the administration's economic direction, arguing that inflation figures alone are not enough to suggest economic stability. We cannot say that inflation has helped to stabilize prices, he said. If you monitor the opportunities for jobs, we are really getting nothing. Mr. Afenyomarkin criticized the government's lack of focus on private sector-led job creation and lamented the decision to abandon the flagship One District, One Factory initiative, a program launched under the previous administration to spur industrialization and local employment. They came to cancel the 1D, 1F. They said they don't need it, he stated. But the 1D, 1F was a major boost for the private sector, highlighting the ideological contrast between the two main political parties. The minority leader emphasized the NPP's belief in empowering the private sector as a key engine of economic growth. We in the NPP are center-right ideologists. We believe in the private sector. The private market creates opportunity for industry to grow so they can employ more. My brother, my sister, according to Afenyomarkin, the NPP is a center-right kind of political ideology, and that it believes in empowering the private sector. My brother, my sister, if One District, One Factory under Nana Akufo-Addo performed its very best, then I don't want to see it continue. Can I repeat it? If One District, One Factory was what it was under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, then I, Blakk Rasta, don't want to see it continue. My brother, my sister, One District, One Factory under Nana Akufo-Addo was a hoax. One Village, One Dam was a bigger hoax. $1 million American for every district, my brother, my sister, was a scam. Today, my brother, my sister, there is a new sheriff in town, and he says he's replacing all this nonsense with what is called a 24-hour economy. My brother, my sister, now when they look at the empirical figures, they are shocked at the way Ghana has recovered from 17 Ghana cedis per dollar all the way down, my brother, my sister, to what it is now. They never believed it to happen. We saw all of them living in the figment of their own imaginations when they told us that if it was John Dramani Mahama in power, the city would have gone all the way to 25 Ghana cedis to the dollar. Today, that same incompetent Mahama is here. He says that, in fact, the unprecedented incompetence under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo must be a thing of the past. Therefore, the One District, One Factory has been thrown into the deepest abyss of oblivion. And Afenyomarkin is crying. These people, do they have Ghana at heart? or they are only just interested in political ideologies. Sometimes I miss Jerry John Rawlings. People like this would have been driven in bone shaker cars to the Gonda barracks and given unprofessional haircuts with blunt instruments. Right after that, they will get a good beating that they will never ever forget, because the scars will be there to remind them of their buffoonery. Can I make progress? My brother, my sister, one district, one factory was a scam. They used it to rob us, my brother, my sister. What was one district, one factory supposed to achieve? Did it achieve it? Why did it not achieve it? If there is a better policy, my brother, my sister, why not allow it to come into fruition? Today, Afenyo Markin says they are waiting for them in Parliament. With what numbers? These numbers that look like a fleeting illusion. With what numbers? These numbers that we can only see under the microscope. The minority in Parliament is non-existent. We can only see this minority right under the most powerful microscopes. My brother, my sister, it is a micro minority as it was put to us by the Speaker of Parliament, and only the microscope can see micro things like this. Hallelujah. Ghanaians have rejected this government. The one district, one factory was a scam. They wanted to get back into power using the free education, but Ghanaians are fed up. The educational system has been messed up beyond any serious repair. It will take us years to go back to those wonderful rosy ages, oh yes, of education that we had in Ghana. When people from Nigeria came in their droves to study in this country. Today, my brother, my sister, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his bunch of nation wreckers have destroyed this country. And my brother, my sister, I'm still looking at how Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo can be prosecuted. He's still walking around in oversized suits. He's still walking around, my brother, my sister, attending events, grinning, my brother, my sister, before people. When people hate Ghana like this, the only way forward is to prosecute them so that many other people can learn. To Afenyo Markin, we are not scared of your micro minority that can only be seen under Copernicus's powerful microscope. My brother, my sister, the one district, one factory was a scam, was a sham of a scam. And the better it is right now for us to dust it and take it off the shelf. I applaud the government in power. The CD is doing quite well. Ghana is beginning to smile. The economy is heaving a sigh of relief. And I just hope that these people will not rest on their oars. Corrupt officials are being picked up one after the other under Nana Akufo-Addo. In fact, it was a free fall for everybody, a free walk in the park of corruption. Everybody was stealing left, right, and center. And instead of being ashamed of this Lilliputian president, arrogant as he was, sleeping on the job, people are still going around talking about his policies that never helped anybody. Even his vice president told us he was only a mate. It was the president who was running the country into a ditch. We thought it was a ditch. Now we know that we've been thrown over a cliff and we have landed in a gorge. I hope you know the difference between a cliff and a gorge. I'll leave it here. Another thing I quickly want to look at is this one I'm taking from Ghana Web, and it says President Mahama appoints Dr. Gabra as special envoy for reparations. I read. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has appointed Dr. Gabra as special envoy for reparations. His appointment is part of Ghana's renewed commitment to advancing the global call for reparations for slavery and colonial exploitation. I love Dr. Gabra. I met him only once all my life, but he left a lasting impression on me. My brother, my sister, when I came out with the kuchoko concept of music, where reggae music married African music, and where we as Africans and of course Jamaicans could have a very beautiful dance. One of the very first politicians to accept this concept was Dr. Gabra. He gave us an opportunity as a minister of trade to showcase our art and for him to really see exactly what it was when we said kuchoko. At the end of the day, we impressed him. He liked the concept and he promised that he was going to push this thing further as a Pan-Africanist. We didn't see much of it because some things happened left, right, and center. He got out of office and some other things that I can't really remember. The lasting impression he left on me is that he's a man who wants to see new things. He's a man who embraces the ideology of Pan-Africanism. He's a man who thinks out of the box. In the days of John Evans Atta Mills, he was relegated to the background. When John Evans Atta Mills called him allegedly and told him that, you know what, I know that you are so brilliant, you would help with the cause of Ghana, but I cannot appoint you into any ministerial position because you are a fanti just like me. And I do not want people to say it's a family and friends government. I may have to sacrifice you. And the professor was so good at that. He will tell you point blank, I can't do this because of A, B, C, D. He was one of the best we had. Gabra, in fact, had to live with the truth for no fault of his. It's not his fault that he's a fanti. Is it a crime that he belongs to the same ethnic group as the then president? But that was the reason given to him, to sideline him, and his brain was never picked from in the days of John Evans Atta Mills. I'm glad that Mahama has been able to fish him out wherever he was hiding. And I want to see what he has to offer, even though I've tasted some bit of it. Now, what is reparations? Slavery came in, colonialism came in, they robbed us of our lives. Today, people are asking for compensation. This is what is called reparation. It's been a major global debate amongst black people and beyond. We have helped develop the lands of these people, and it was by force. We never got paid. Can we get our payment now? Now there is an argument, a debate over who deserves to take it. Is it Africans who helped to sell their fellow Africans? Or is it people in the diaspora who were sold and they went through, in fact, the middle journey, my brother, my sister, and went through a lot of suffering? Are they those to get it? Is it both? The debate is still ongoing. Dr. Gabra is in there. I believe he has the brains to be able to contribute meaningfully to this debate. And my prayer is that he will keep on holding on to the tenets of Pan-Africanism and patriotism as a nation. Now it is time to put away the suit and wear African print. It is time to talk more Africa, to talk more Akple and Fetridechi. It is time to talk towards Zafi and Miankuka. It is time to stand with our ancestors, the powerful Ya Asantoa, who was carried into slavery, my brother, my sister, by force. Nana Prempeh the first. It's time to talk our ancestors. It's time to give Africa its valor one more time. To Ecospio Gabra, I know you do a good job. And I want to say congratulations. And to John Dramani Mahama, you don't cease to amuse me. How do you remember all these great people when your doors are being knocked at every now and then by people who are lobbying for appointments and so on and so forth? To God be the glory. Now the final story I would like to look at is taken from Ghana Web, and it says NDC-NP angry after constituent allegedly paid 30,000 Ghana cedis for SHS placement. And I read, now the member of parliament from Ekrofuom, Joseph Azuma, has expressed outrage over what he describes as corruption in Ghana's senior high school placement system. Now, this was after one of the constituents was allegedly charged 30,000 Ghana cedis to secure admission for a child to a preferred school. Now, speaking in an interview with Asempa FM on October 21, 2025, the National Democratic Congress legislator stated that he was approached by a constituent who sought his help in securing placement for their child. However, he said within a week, the individual returned with evidence showing that 30,000 Ghana cedis had been paid to secure admission through unofficial means. Someone who knew I was the MP came to me at Community 16, was it 18? 16, where I live, and asked me to help their child gain admission to a certain school. Within a week, the person came back with evidence showing that they had paid 30,000 Ghana cedis to secure placement. Why are we doing this to ourselves? He lamented. The MP said he was shocked by the revelation and questioned why some parents were willing to pay exorbitant sums for school placements, suggesting that such practices only serve to deepen inequality and corruption in the educational sector. Now we must remember that every time we pay monies like this to get placements, it means that a more qualified child is going to be displaced most of the time. You all want your children to go to pre-sec, yet some of them scored 96, 72, aggregate 96, aggregate 72, aggregate 82. Those who scored 6 will be shifted to Awudomi Secondary School, Awusko, in the Volta region. Some would be sent all the way, my brother, my sister, to Quito Secondary School. Some would be sent all the way to Gambaga Secondary School. Some will go all the way to Durigaga Secondary School. Kasina Nankana Secondary School, where you would have to sit on the back of a crocodile before you reach the school. Yet they scored 6 and their first choice, pre-sec, because they have nobody to speak for them. We have no respect for decency. We deny them of the pre-sec that they want, even though they work so hard to get that. We send them to schools where people have to sit on crocodiles' backs before we get there. Schools where people have to sit on donkey backs before we reach there every morning. Schools where people have to ride bicycles 7 trillion kilometers before you go there, before you reach there. You are panting like a hungry antelope. It is sad. What are we doing to ourselves? Of course, my brother, my sister, I have absolutely no problem if a parent goes to a school of his son's choice and he says, you know what? My son worked so hard. He got these grades. He chose this school as the first choice, but he was sent to a school that he never chose. Can I have an explanation? Or, my son chose this school. He did quite well, but he didn't get placed here. Could you see if any vacancy falls and you want to give it to me? Because some of the students could be placed there and they don't report at all. Or they might even go to different schools because their parents have been transferred. In that case, there's a genuine vacancy and you might be able to deal with that. Aside that, I am so much against paying money, bribery and corruption in order to kick out brilliant students who should have been in the school and sent to the schools where we sit on crocodile back before we go to school every morning. And these people are brought in there to replace them. It is sad. All the parents who do that, bow down your heads in shame. All the parents who do that, bow down your heads in shame. Remember that at the back of your conscience, you have displaced a more hard-working student or a student who worked harder than your ward. And you have used power to put your own there. You expect that they will do well? You expect that God would be with them? My brother, my sister, it is what it is. This is the time people are running around politicians, left, right, and center. People who are waving money. And this is the case, this MP. He's a politician, an MP. He couldn't even do it. Why don't we encourage our children to work very hard so that at least we can stand on that pedestal and say, hey, my son worked hard. He made a 6 and he didn't get his first choice. We don't understand. We want to understand. That I will support you. We will fight tooth and nail for you. But not when your son or your daughter makes aggregate 99, aggregate 87. And then you want them to go to Presec. You want them to go to Accra Academy. You want them to go to T.I. Ahmadiyya Secondary School. No, that is bribery and corruption. And there were headmasters in the past who took so much money to bring dunderheads into their schools. My brother, my sister, it looks like we still have to look at the placement system. When the brilliant students, my brother, my sister, are sent to the best schools, and the ones that are not so brilliant are taken to weak schools, we will continue having grade 1 schools, grade 2 schools, and grade 10 schools. Why can't we put all the schools on an equal pedestal? There are some schools, there are no teachers. When you post teachers there, they don't go. There are some schools, they are so disadvantaged that even if you bring the most brilliant student there, there's no way they can pass. We should try to bridge those gaps so that it wouldn't matter which school you put your ward, they will still do well. When students choose which schools they want to go to, it should just be a matter of proximity, not quality. How many people understand what I'm saying? We should be able to bridge the quality gap. Yes, the quality gap between all these schools and those that we say are the best. When they are on the same pedestal, then when students are asked to choose, it will just be a matter of proximity and not a matter of quality. I'll leave it here.
ya waleta matam sanga.